We are here with Justine Lynn. No one's ever said your name like that before, Justine.
Or have they?
Maybe, I don't know. Thanks for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet, anytime. So you're joining us right now from BC, correct?
Yes, I'm in Vancouver.
Hmm.
It has snowed, and so it's cold. Cold for us, maybe not for
Yeah.
you.
My
But it's
level of
beautiful.
sympathy right now is pretty
Yeah.
low.
Non-existent.
Yeah. He
But
says from Ontario,
it's
sitting
a
in
beautiful
60
sunny day,
centimeters of
which
snow.
we don't get in Vancouver very often in the winter, so I'll take the win. So yeah.
Well, let's jump right into it. You
Okay.
have released a brand new single called You Know with Warren Hargaves. Why don't you tell us a bit about this new song?
Yeah, I'd love to. So this song actually came to me from my producer, Anthony Fiddler, who's also a BC guy. He's out here. We had a road trip to a show last summer. It was like a 7-hour trip to get there. And we were just looking for new songs, trying to figure out what to do next. And he had this song that he'd written actually with two other guys, Jesse Slack and Daryl Scott. And he played it for me, and like halfway through the song, I was like, you know what, I think this could be a really cool duet. And then it just kind of took off from there. And then it was about trying to find the right person, because I wouldn't say I'm picky, but I wanted somebody that I could connect with on like a personal level, not necessarily just as an artist, because this is a love song and it's a beautiful song, and I wanted somebody that connected with it the same way and felt the same way about it. And we came across Warren, and if you haven't looked at his social media, please do. He's such an incredible musician, and he had posted, it was a song he had written about his son, and it was just like this beautiful song, and it was just him and his guitar, and he just seemed like such a good human being. And I literally just DM'd him, and I was like, this idea I have, would you be interested? And he was really excited and really gung-ho, and it kind of took off from there, which was really fun.
So you had never met him before?
I've never met Warren in real life. It's a classic Justine. I literally DM'd him and I was like, hi, I'm Justine Lynn. You don't know me, but I've creeped your videos and I really like you, so would you like to do this love song with me?
Was he like, hold up?
No, it was very sweet. And then we sent him an email with like the work tape and the lyrics, and like instantly he was like, I'd love to be a part of this. And he's such a like grateful, gracious person. He was like, thank you so much for thinking of me. And yeah, it's been really, really cool to get to know him. It's weird to get to know somebody on that level, doing a song that's like intimate, and I mean music is just intimate in general, regardless of the type of song it is, but then to have never met the person, it's so interesting. But yeah, I
Oh
can't
my
wait to
God.
meet him one day.
When you two finally like meet in person, it's gonna be very weird.
Yeah, can you imagine? We're just not gonna know what to do. Hi?
He'll
Hi.
be like, oh, you're tall.
Yeah. Literally. Have nothing to speak about.
You know?
Good
That was a
one.
really dumb joke. I hate myself.
So I like you so much though, Logan.
Thanks. At least someone appreciates it. So for the song You Know,
Yes.
what message or what do you hope listeners get from it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've never actually released like a love song. I've released like angry love songs, post heartbreak love songs, but never just like a truly sincere love song. And the thing I loved about it when I first heard it was just like a genuine, like when you truly meet somebody that you're like, this is it for me. And I just feel like nowadays we don't really talk about the good side of love necessarily so much. It's always about the sadness and the heartbreak and the horrible things that can happen, but sometimes it's just nice to sit in the happy, romantic, pure side of it, right? And I think that's what this song is, and I hope that there are people out there that have this feeling with somebody and can truly connect with how they felt in that moment when they listen to this song.
It's a very sweet song. It's very
Yeah,
nice.
it is very
Yeah.
sweet, right? Yeah.
Like you hear it and you're like,
Which is not very Justine. I'm not really like a sweet kind of person, so it's nice to change it up every now and then.
who would you say some of your biggest musical influences are for those of you who don't know you yet?
I'm not from Canada originally. I was born in South Africa, and we don't have a lot of country music in South Africa. So my oldest inspirations are from like the blues, Motown, like old school. Aretha Franklin is my favorite singer of all time. I think she was just the bee's knees when it came to music. And then I also grew up, there's a woman in South Africa called Miriam Makeba, she's a very famous South African artist who influenced a lot of, I think, my show style as well. Nowadays in country, I like authenticity. So I like Ashley McBride, Lainey Wilson, like the people that are just extremely true to who they are and they don't compromise that for anything. And then Dolly Parton, because it's Dolly Parton. You just like, if you don't like Dolly Parton, it's just not gonna work. Sorry. I should check with Warren if he likes Dolly Parton.
Well, I mean, the answer is yes. Like, who doesn't like? I don't think I've met a single person who's like, I hate Dolly Parton.
Yeah, like she's fine, and she's just again, right? She's just a nice human too. Like, she's so how can you be so lovely? I saw her live when she came to Vancouver, and she honestly, I think she played like 15 instruments.
That's insane.
Like, it was wild. At one point, she was playing like an alto saxophone. Like, she is just like she's so cool. She's so cool. She's so cool. Anyway.
Huh. What can't that woman do?
Honestly, that's how it felt. Like, she just, like, pick up an electric guitar and just, like, do a riff and then put it down and then, like, picked up a saxophone and I was like, what is this genius? What is happening? I'll just go on stage and sing. It was so lame.
I'm just a singer. So far, you've performed on the same stage with some pretty cool people, like including Dallas Smith, Megan Patrick, Dean Brody. What's some of the biggest lessons that you've learned in playing shows like that?
Yeah, actually, that's for me. It's off stage, and it's something I try and do in all aspects of my life. And it's just being kind to everybody. And it's something you see at those big festivals a lot, right? You hear about the artists that show up and are kind and are gracious and are authentic and are just nice people, and then you hear about the ones that aren't. And so I think when you're playing those stages, it's just treating everyone with kindness, whether it's the headliner or, you know, the person that's helped you park your car. Like, I don't think it makes a difference. And I think for me, it's like the back end stuff is really important. And then when it comes to the stage presence, everything I do in my career, I think just revolves authenticity, right? And for those artists that I've been lucky enough to be near when it comes to my career, like the ones that are excelling are the ones that are just truly who they are and they don't compromise that. Because you can feel that on stage, right? Like, you can feel when someone is putting it on, or you can feel when someone is being true to who they are. And I just think that it's so vital to be able to connect with people, especially when you're performing live.
Very true. Moving a bit beyond music,
Yeah.
you're involved with a nonprofit called Wild Tomorrow Fund, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Because it seems very, from the outside looking in, it's like, well, where does that come from?
Yeah. So actually it came, like many people in COVID, I was looking for stuff to do with music that wasn't just like another live stream, because I think we just were kind of getting bored. And I'd always wanted to give back in some way to something. And I started a Justine Lynn merchandise line. I didn't really have merch, and I had this idea of connecting with an organization and being able to give 100% of the proceeds of the merch line to the organization. And I always knew that because I was born in South Africa and I moved when I was 15, that it would probably be something related to animals in South Africa. So I literally I did what I did with Warren. I just went on Google and I just Googled all of these organizations I could find. And the Wild Tomorrow was one I found, which I really liked because their impact is so big, but their team is actually quite small and it's like a little family. And I sent them an email, just same thing, this is my plan. I'm this South African girl living in Canada. What do you think? And the founders of the organization actually replied and were like, we'd love to have a meeting with you. And we set up a meeting, the following week. And then it kind of cascaded from there. We started the merch line, and then we have done 2 Country for a Cause shows, which have been fundraisers for the Wild Tomorrow as well. I think we're close to about 10,000 Canadian, which, to give concept, depending on the day, the exchange rate from South Africa to a Canadian dollar is 7 to 1 or 11 to 1. So $10,000 goes a really, really long way in South Africa. So yeah, it's cool. They've got this huge plot of land with these incredible African animals on it that they're trying to help. Their whole ether is saving the wild. So they're just trying to kind of save as much of South African wildlife as we can, while helping communities. It's the same here in Canada, right? There's so much wildlife here in Canada, and we just need to save as much of it as possible, in my
That's
opinion.
so lovely.
Yeah.
So I have to go back for a sec. You said you moved here when you were 15. What was that like?
Hard. It was hard.
That's a really influential time in someone's life to make a huge change.
The worst age to immigrate, the worst age. I moved into grade 9 too, so all of the kids had been together for a year into high school. High school in South Africa is very different. So you wear a school uniform, you're not allowed to wear makeup, you're not allowed to wear jewelry, you're not allowed to eat on your school uniform if you're off premises. I went to an all-girls high school. You're not allowed to sit when you walk into the classroom unless the teacher lets you, the teacher will say, you may now sit, you may now take off your blazer. It is very different to here.
Just like here.
Yeah, and I went to like just like a normal high school here in Vancouver. And my first day, I walked in and I like stood next to my table, and everyone was sitting, and I like didn't know what to do, so I just like awkwardly sat because I hadn't been given permission yet. And then I went up to the teacher and I was like, "Good morning, sir." Like I said something, and he said, "Oh, you must not be from here. Like you're way too formal for what's happening." And I was like, I had like the very classic, like what you see in the movies. Like at lunchtime, I was gonna go eat in the library because I didn't have friends, and then.
Oh.
Yeah, this one girl from one of the classes, I still to this day call her my angel, like stopped me and was like, "Why don't you come with me and have lunch?" Like, yeah, it was really, really tough. But I found a really great group of friends that kind of took me under their wing, and we're still friends today, which is really cool. So
How was the first winter here? What a stupid Canadian question to ask, but I have to know.
love it. But I was also 15. You're kind of nice, and like you're getting to do things that are like mind blowing to a South African, right? Like when we don't get snow, and like we don't go sledding and snowshoeing and all these things. That is just like so there was that cool aspect of being able to do really like, without sounding so ridiculous, like things you only see in the movies for a South African, you know? So it felt very like we were living in the movies. And our Christmases are like in the pool. So having like a cold Christmas is really different. So
You know, the older I get, the more I want to go south for Christmas.
it's funny because I love like the quintessential like snowy Christmas, but now that I'm getting older, I'm like, I know I could kind of do just like a poolside Christmas again. It sounds pretty fantastic,
Yeah, I agree.
especially where you are with all the snow, Logan.
Don't talk to me about it. I can't. Okay, I don't think I told you this. I have a balcony out my back, like out on attached to my house. And the snow is above the window. And the door to the balcony swings outwards. So I can't open the door to clear the snow off the balcony. So I have to tonight scale my house and climb over this fence. Get me a beach.
So if no
please.
one hears from you tomorrow, we need to come check on you, is what you're saying?
I'm either like underneath a pile of snow or locked out of my house on top of the balcony.
Yeah, so beach next year. Next year, Christmas beach.
I hope so. I don't even know where to go from that. But so what do we have? I know your song just released, and this is the most annoying question when a song is just out and breathing. But what's next for you?
I mean, I feel like as artists, like once the song's out, you've kind of moved on like months before that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's just how we are. I have hopefully 2 more singles coming out this year, which is really exciting. One near the summer, and then we'll do one in fall. And then festival season this year. So we're already, which seems outrageous if you're not an artist, but if you're in the music industry, you know that this has been happening for months now. So festivals are booking for the summertime. So just kind of scheduling all of those, which is really exciting as well.
Great. So keep an eye on Justine's social media, and where can people find you?
Justine Lynn Music. Everywhere.
Excellent. And keep an eye on FrontPorchMusic.ca, and we'll have all the latest updates as well.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us, Justine.